to start off, unfortunately, when I was filling in my eyebrows, my camera wasn't focusing the right way, so I would just go ahead and do a separate video showing you how I do my eyebrows for those of you that would like to know. I am trying to let my eyebrows grow as much as possible because I have really thin hair, so it's a little bit harder for me to let them grow out. So for that reason, I am taking the NARS concealer in the color medium 1 custard with a lip pencil brush and kind of just outlining my eyebrows, which will help hide any little hairs that are growing, at least for a little bit until I get to do them again. For this technique, you can use any brush you'd like. You can even use an angled brush or use what I'm using. Whatever works best for you, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. Personally, I like to use this because it smooths out any harsh lines that I have going on. Next, we're going to take the MAC Pro Longwear paint pot in the color Soft Ochre. For this technique, you do want to use a brush that has like a smooth end, simply because we are using this as our base, and we want it to look as smooth as possible, and the consistency that it has is very thick and paint-like, so you do want to be careful and start off with very little instead of just going ahead and throwing a bunch on there, not being able to spread it out evenly afterwards. Once I'm done smoothing that out, I'm taking the KatVonD Shade and Light Eye Palette, which is by far my favorite palette ever, just because the colors are simply so pigmented that it literally lasts forever. I'm taking the color Succubus with any blending brush that you have is fine, and blending that into the inner corner of my eye. It doesn't really matter if you get the eyeshadow under your eye or on your nose or whatever. It's okay. We're going to clean that up, but as long as you blend it very well into the inner corner of your eye, that's what's important. Next, I'm going to take the color Custard from Anastasia Beverly Hills and kind of just use that as a light base, just so that I'm able to blend in my darker colors and it gives it more of a smoky feel, but not too dark. Personally, I love to use anything that has a straight edge whenever I'm doing a smoky look or any dark colors as my eyeshadow. I feel like it gives it like a cleaner look, just a cleaner slate. I feel like it works best for me. You really don't have to do this. And if you do like to do this, you can really use anything. You can even use tape, a piece of paper, or whatever works best for you. Here, I'm just simply using a regular index card. You want to make sure that you really blend in this color, because remember, we are blending other darker colors on top of this color, so you do want this color to be your base, your main priority, let's say. Without this color, your other eyeshadows won't look as good. Next, I'm going to take the color Caramel from Anastasia Beverly Hills and blend this over the color Custard, which we had used right before, but I'm not going to go so into the center of my eye, let's say, and not too high, just because this is a darker color and we are going from light to dark, so we need to be careful as to where we're blending this, but more or less towards the end of the outer V of the eye, towards the center, to start giving it that smoky feel. I cannot stress how important it is to blend in all your eyeshadows. The more you blend, the better your colors will look. And remember, it's always better to start off with very little and maybe not even enough than to just start off and go ahead and put a whole bunch on there and not be able to take it off or do anything and having to start all over. It's always better to just work your way up there to the perfect shade rather than just have to start all over again. Since we're already starting into the darker colors, You want to mainly focus on the outer view of your eye and leave the lighter colors into the center of your eye and into the inner corner of your eye. Start blending that in, but mainly focus on the outer V. You can continue adding more shadow and blending as much as you want until you get to the perfect shade. Once you feel that you've blended enough and you have the perfect shade, you can take any shimmery color that you'd like. But for this look, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit in the color Mimosa and spraying a little bit of Fix Plus on my brush and patting that down toward the center of my eye. And so it's time for the wing liner. For this look, I'm using the KatVonD Tattoo Liner in the color Trooper. Honestly, I was so into the gel liners. I did not find any other liners that were as dark as the gel ones, especially the one from Maybelline, the Paint Pot, until I found this one. This one is so dark and it lasts so long that I don't think I'll ever buy another liner other than this one. And it's so easy to use once you get the hang of it. The first few times I literally had anxiety because the brush is so thin and I was so scared to screw up because the color is so dark, but it is beautiful, and once you try it a few times, I promise you, you will get the hang of it. And trust me, you will get the hang of it because I am the most shakiest person on earth, and if I got it, I'm sure you will get it. Always remember, when you're filling in the inner corner of your eye, make sure that you are doing it very, very thin. Start your way thin, work your way to as thick as you want that wing. But as far as the inner corner of your eye, make sure you're doing it thin, otherwise it will make your eye look very, very small. As far as my wing, what I like to do is I literally like to outline where I want my wing or the size that I want it, and then I start to fill in the inside of it. I feel like this works best. It's taken me some time to actually try to figure out how to do the wing, but I feel like this technique is the one that works best for me. And it always happens to me. One wing is always bigger than the other, but this is why you always start small and start off with very little and work your way up. Once you feel like your wings are even and ready for takeoff, I like to use a wipey and just kind of wipe it out and make sure that my lines are even and I don't have any excess of eyeshadow under them or anything. It gives it a cleaner look and a cleaner slate. So when I'm applying foundation, I like to use a damp beauty blender. If you'd like to use a brush or anything else, by all means, whatever you like. Personally, I love beauty blenders because they give you such a perfect and smooth finish. And I'm taking the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation in the color 105 Natural Beige. So here's the thing. I live in Miami and I work in Hooters. When you think of Miami, think of the humidity. So add the humidity plus working in a restaurant, not a very good combo. Therefore, I like to use matte foundations when it comes to work, simply because I do feel like if I use any foundations that have glow or give a dewy look, by the end of the shift, I look like a grease ball, and that's not cute. Like I said earlier, it's better to start off with a little bit and to work your way up to the consistency and to the coverage that you like, than rather just throw on a blob there and have too much foundation on. Personally, I don't like the cakey look, so I try to put on as very little foundation as possible. Another important factor that a lot of people don't know is blend to your neck. You do not want to be double toned from your face to your neck. Make sure that you blend very well, and if you did put on concealer around your eyebrows, make sure that you get those areas and blend that out well. Next, I'm going to apply my concealer. Lately, I've been using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Medium 1 Custard. Before, I was using the Urban Decay Skin one. These two are by far my favorite concealers. I literally fell in love with concealers once I started using these two. They give such good coverage, but they don't leave you that cakey feel. And on top of the fact that lately my pores have been showing around my nose, and it's just been bothering me a little bit, and I feel like this gives me a really good coverage. I'm just going to go ahead and blend all of that out real nicely under my eyes and everywhere possible with my beauty blender. You really want to make sure that you're blending this out real nice, because you really don't want to have any creases under your eyes. The secret to life: blend. Next, I'm taking the Laura Mercier translucent powder and just patting that over my concealer, just to make sure that whenever I do go to work or I go out or whatever, my concealer does not crease under my eyes and it won't get greasy at all. I promise you, this powder will keep everything in place. Next, I'm going to take the MAC bronzer called Give Me Sun and just blend that into my cheekbones real nicely. Today, I'm not going to use a blush, simply because I do want more of a matte, subtle look. So I'm just kind of going to blend that over my cheekbones real nicely. Try to mainly focus on the bottom half of your cheekbones, not too much on the top, because you don't want to give yourself that dirty, dingy, too much of a bronzy look. And if you do happen to get it over a little too much under your cheekbones, don't worry, we will clean it up. Next, I'm going to take that same Laura Mercier translucent powder and a white wedge and just create a diagonal line right beneath my cheekbone just to kind of clean everything up. You don't have to use one of these wedges. You could use a brush, a beauty blender, whatever you like. I'm going to go ahead and leave that translucent powder under my cheekbones for a couple minutes just so that I can bake it out and it can clean up my mess a little. I'm going to take my favorite of all time, the L'Oreal Telescopic mascara, and do a couple coats on my eyelashes. For this look, I won't be applying falsies on simply because I was getting ready for work and I didn't want too much of a dramatic look. If you know me, you know I love mascara. So don't judge me. I love to put on as many coats as mascara as I possibly can. I think it gives it such a nice look. Once I'm done applying mascara on my top lashes, I'm going to go ahead and grab that same caramel color and just grab a smudge eyeshadow brush and just smudge it out beneath my bottom lashes. Then I'm going to go ahead and apply mascara to my bottom lashes. Then with a clean brush, I'm going to go ahead and brush off the translucent powder that I had under my cheekbones. And voila, it looks like you contoured. Then with the fan brush, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the same color Mimosa from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit and add it to the top portion of my cheekbones. This highlighter has got to be one of my favorites. It literally lasts me all day and has such a pretty color to it. Then I'm going to go ahead and pick up my Mary Kay sealant spray and spray that over my face. This spray will help your makeup last longer. Next, I'm taking the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick in the color Stripped and applying that over my lips. Lately, I've really been loving these lipsticks simply because usually with matte lipsticks, the consistency is very thick and after a while they start to peel off, and not with these. I feel like one coat is enough and these coats are very, very thin, so I'm really loving these liquid lipsticks. And for the quality of these liquid lipsticks being so good, they're only $20. Compared to other lipsticks, I think that's a pretty good price. Thank you so much, guys, for watching and supporting my first video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.